OBS is a great piece of software, and the best part about it, it's free. And because of this, it's not flawless because it doesn't have a $1 zillion budget to work with, but that doesn't mean you should give up on it. If you've ever experienced the black screen where you record, say, 30-40 minutes of a game, and then you go to play it back, and the screen's black, but you can hear the audio just fine, just to tease you, but the screen's black, you'll know what I'm talking about. It can be frustrating, and this is a way to avoid that. This is a way to bring up the preview so you can check and see if your game's being captured properly. This solution should work whether you're using like Epic Game Launcher, Uplay, Steam, or even just running a game directly. Some people say that all DirectX games and any game running OpenGL will work just fine, and it's really not the case. Not always the case. It can be really finicky. And there's a lot of other videos out there and people trying to help saying to run OBS in compatibility mode, like Windows 7 compatibility mode, and change your graphics card from external graphics to integrated graphics, which I don't even understand. Don't do anything drastic. Try these steps first because it's super simple, and hopefully it'll correct your problem. Let's jump right in. This first step is for Windows users especially. Go ahead and pretend that I don't have OBS open right now, and before you open it, you're going to want to right click your icon and run as administrator. It's the same as if you're launching from the start button or an icon on your desktop. You need to right click it and run as administrator. Do this every time. Don't forget. It's just good habit to get into. And next we're going to be looking at the two small windows in the bottom left hand corner of OBS. And the first one is Scene, which is really just what you're calling your project. We're only going to be leaving one in here now for testing purposes. You can put multiple ones in here, call them whatever you want. The next is Sources. We will be setting this up in a second, but first what we're going to do is minimize OBS without starting a recording. And we're going to fire up a game. And the reason we're doing this is because we want OBS to see what we want it to record while it's running. And that's why we minimized OBS without closing it. And now we're going to hit Alt-Tab, select OBS, and go back to the Sources window. Click the little plus sign and select Game Capture. Now when we get to the next window, you're not going to change anything. We're just going to click OK. But if we wanted to here, we could change the name Game Capture to like Game Capture Game XYZ, just so we know what kind of source we set up. This is in the future. If you want to set up multiple sources, that's the best way to keep track of them. But we're not going to do that now. For testing purposes, we're only keeping one entry in Sources. Then we're going to click the OK button. And in the next window, we're going to see the Mode drop-down menu. And from Capture Any Full Screen Application, we're going to change it to Capture Specific Window. Selecting this option will now give us the Window drop-down menu below. And when we click on that, we will have listed in there somewhere will be our game. And for example, we're using Code Vein right now. So we're going to select that and click OK. And then you'll see, hitting the Enable Preview button in the middle of the screen, you will see our game has popped up into OBS. And by setting up our source this way, we now know that OBS is definitely directed towards the game that we want to record, and we're ready to smack the record button. But before we do that, I like to right click on a blank spot on the preview and hit the enable preview toggle and shut off the preview, and then hit the record button. And we are ready to rock. It's always a good idea to do a test recording with every new game that you start to capture, because sometimes the loading screen the title screen that gives you the you can choose options or continue or start a new game will not show up in OBS for whatever reason. It doesn't see it as full screen or whatever. So you want to run the game for a little bit. Do a test, because you don't want to record, like I said, a half hour or whatever of a game and then find out that you have a black screen. It's always a good idea. You always have to do a test recording with each new game because it's finicky. I know these steps can seem a little redundant, to some people will see it that way, but if you do it this way every time, you won't run into the black screen issue. Like I said, it's sometimes it's the game's fault, sometimes it's OBS's fault. Who knows why? Who knows if it'll ever be fixed? But this is just the best way to make sure your source is properly set up and OBS is looking at the game that you wanted to record. If you need help setting up OBS completely for high quality, no lag recordings, look for a link to a quick setup guide in the description box below this video. I hope this helps you guys. If it did, please subscribe and have fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.